In recent weeks, there's been a series of violent clashes between Hindu and Muslim youths in Leicester. 47 people have been arrested, 25 police officers have been injured, although that might just be because they smacked themselves in the face with their own rainbow flag, put their back out dancing the Macarena at a pride march, or pulled a muscle while taking a knee for BLM. As Leicester has descended into lawlessness, so the mainstream media have avoided reporting on it, and our politicians have avoided talking about it, all of them terrified of being accused of racism or invoking the ire of the woke cultural establishment, being cancelled and finding themselves on the commercial, professional and social scrap heap. What has caused this eruption of violence is that young people growing up in Leicester identify more with being Indian or Pakistani than they do with being British. They prioritise their Muslim and Hindu values over British values. Identity politics have driven these communities apart, whereas in fact they shouldn't be part of separate communities. They should be united under what they have in common, their Britishness. Regardless of the colour of their skin, their ancestral roots, or their religious choices, having been born and raised in Britain or having adopted this country as their home, in order for us to live in a cohesive society, they should be compelled to live by British values, to identify first and foremost as British. That's the only way for them to live harmoniously amongst each other. Unfortunately, over recent years, the faux liberal elite, most of whom live in exclusively white enclaves of North London and have a friendship group whiter than the Arctic Circle, have in the aftermath of Brexit been deeply derogatory about Britain, our history and heritage, falling over themselves to label us as a nation of colonisers and slave traders. At the same time, the Christian cultural values that are the foundation stone of our society have been under attack for decades, ridiculed and mocked by Marxist agitators. These people have turned us into a country with no common identity, and in so doing have created fractured communities at war with each other. The legacy of woke thinking is violence amongst minority communities who've rejected the necessity of assimilation. Out of this disorder, there will inevitably emerge a wave of anti-globalist right-wing sentiment in the interests of social cohesion and public order, as we're currently witnessing in Sweden and Italy and across much of the rest of Europe. This is partly driven by the collapse of the multicultural experiment, but also because the handling of the COVID pandemic showed us quite clearly that our globalist overlords at the WEF and the Gates Foundation would really love to dismantle civilization and inflict autocratic communism on us all in the fabricated pursuit of saving us from climate crisis, environmental catastrophe and human extinction. It's time to either pick a side or throw away your smartphone, take all your cash out of the bank and go and live in the woods. Or otherwise just support me on Patreon or PayPal by following the links below this video, as I am probably now the only hope left for humanity, the avoidance of mutually assured nuclear destruction and just the survival of the planet in general.